What is up? This year, LA in a minute, and an emergency meeting of a safety task force has decided that individual Los Angeles public school campuses should be allowed to decide whether to station a police officer on campus again. This comes after the LAUSD decided to do away with LAPD in schools in 2021, and it saw a corresponding rise in crime, drug use, and incidents on LAUSD campuses. Let's get into it. The LAUSD Board of Education is meeting today to discuss recommendations from a task force that suggests that individual campuses should be able to decide if there should be officers in their individual schools. This comes after an emergency meeting last week at Patrick Henry Middle School in Granada Hills, where parents and the task force called for more police on campus. The task force, established by the LAUSD Board of Education, was convened due to a rising number of fights on campus, as well as a commensurate increase in drug use since police were kept off campus in favor of Los Angeles school police. The school police typically patrol areas around schools and respond to emergency calls on and off campus. This task force was called due to the release of some data from the LAUSD that showed fights, threats, controlled substances, and weapons have all but doubled since the last full school year before COVID. In the aftermath of the George Floyd killing and subsequent protests, the city passed by narrow margin the removal of police from LAUSD hallways. Within weeks of that vote, the decision to remove mandatory police officers from the district's high schools and other campuses was made final. In the 4 years since, LAPD has largely been left off campus, leaving the 600,000 students in kindergarten through 12th grade at LAUSD solely in the hands of school police, which is a department paid for and operated by the school system. Closer examination of the data shows that fighting has more than doubled since the last full school year before COVID, from 2,270 to almost 4,800 already this year. In the same span, the use of illegal or controlled substances has also almost doubled, from 854 incidents to just over 1,500. And reported incidents deemed a threat to school staffers and the students has rose by more than 1,300, going from 1,994 to 3,300 already this year. Before the cuts, a high school would typically have one full-time officer and two middle schools would share an officer. However, after the decision was made in 2021, 65 officers were laid off during that first year, with 36 additional vacant positions left unfulfilled. It's worth noting that these increases are not due 100% entirely to the lack of LAPD on campuses, but the dramatic rise in all categories show that it is at least some factor. If these suggestions are heeded and implemented by the LAUSD Board of Education, it would reverse a decision that was very polarizing in the Los Angeles community. So school board's not expected to take an immediate action, but LA School Superintendent Albert Carvalho is developing a revised safety plan which may require the board's authorization. So we'll see if LAUSD schools will indeed, once again, include LAPD officers. All right, LA, it's been a minute.